Hi, and welcome to Messages from an Angel. And I'm Angel Morgan. I'm your host for today. It's a call in day, 647 931 4701. Today, we're going to tackle the topic of psychic kids. This is a very unique topic, so you don't want to miss out on what's to come after these messages on Messages from an Angel.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi everybody, it's Angel. How are you? Today is a call-in day, 647 931 4701. Call in for your psychic reading today. And before we go any further, when you call in for your psychic readings, it always helps when you have something very specific, just because we want to get to all of our callers. So if you have something you want to ask us, please feel free to call in, or you can even comment. You can comment on your Facebook page or your YouTube page or wherever you are. I will get your questions and I will answer them on the air for you. Today we have a very unique subject. Today we're talking about psychic children. Why are we talking about psychic children? I almost feel like I'm doing a vlog today. What is a vlog exactly? What is that V? Why is it V? Video blog? Is that what it is, Anisha? A video? Is it a video blog? A vlog is a video blog. Oh, okay. Vlog. All right. Well, today I am doing a vlog because this week has been a very interesting week for me. My son is 14 and a half years old, and he's incredibly gifted. In fact, last night I found out through an astrologer he was actually born in a retrograde. And children who are born, or people who are born in a retrograde, are actually very, very gifted, and highly attuned more than most. And if you want to find out if you were born in a retrograde of any kind, go online the way I did and look up retrogrades for the year that you were born. So 1972 retrogrades, and they'll give you a full calendar. If you were born during a retrograde, that's the time of communications or miscommunications. Like if it's Mercury, it's about communications. If Venus, it's about love. So those retrogrades actually make it look like the planets are going backwards in the sky. And if you look at some of our other videos, especially the one with Maria C., who is an astrologer we've had on the show, she talks a little bit about what Mercury retrogrades and retrogrades in general are. So kids born under these signs or in this time are very, very gifted. Well, my son happens to be. In fact, I didn't realize who I was until he was about 3 years old and started to present his abilities. We have our first caller. We'll continue with that story and psychic children in a moment. Hello, caller. Who am I speaking with? Hello.
Hello, is this Angel?
It is. What can I do for you today?
Yeah, I have one question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, what's that question?
I have this guy that we were living together, and he moved. He left, and he went away. His name is Safari Omar Wong. My name is Joan Tyrell Morgan. I just wanted to know if he was gonna come back home. He moved out a year and a half ago.
Yeah, as soon as you started speaking, I didn't see that. I really feel like this person has kind of moved on. Their sights are somewhere else right now. I feel like you're still hoping, but you've come to the realization that, listen, this person's not coming back. It's just about getting that validation and confirmation. Having said that, you got to continue because there is someone else coming, and very shortly, by the way. Okay?
I didn't hear you. Is he coming back?
No, he isn't. And you already know this. You already know that he's not coming back. You know this. You just need the confirmation. You know, sometimes my work is just about that.
He come to my house every day still, though. He still come by every day.
Yeah, but he's not coming.
Stuff like...
Yeah, but he's not coming back permanently.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not going to happen. He has other interests elsewhere. However, having said that, like I said, in you being able to move on, there will be somebody else. So no, he's not going to be coming. He's not going to move back in. No.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
sorry.
Yes.
Thank you for your call, though. You know, it's very interesting. A lot of people will call in because there is a very specific answer that they might want, even though that they know the answer that is true. And unfortunately, I can't give the answer that people want. I have to give them what I have seen. So we were talking about psychic children, and in my particular case, at 3 years old, my son started presenting his abilities, which were very similar to mine, only enhanced. And so it was a very interesting thing nurturing this psychic child. And sometimes he would come out and he'd say things like, "Mommy, I saw this," or "I saw that." And as a parent, we need to discern what is reality and what is not. But how do you do that, especially with a child? So if you have a little kid who is, saying, "Oh, you know what, I see this, or I see that, or I see that," this is a time when you don't need to freak out, because that's what a lot of parents do. Ask questions. So what are you seeing? Who are you seeing? Where are you seeing? What, why, where, when, how? When you do that, it makes the child feel very, very normal, and they can have a conversation with you. And let's take our next caller, and then we'll continue. Hello, who am I speaking with today?
Cheyenne.
Hi, can you turn that up a little bit, Anisha? Do we have more volume? Because I'm having a hard time hearing that. Hi, who am I speaking with?
Cheyenne.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What can I do for you today?
I was just wondering if my grandma had a message for me.
This feels like grandmother, mother's side, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Grandmother, mother's side, she has someone that she has she's looking at. It's not you. It feels like a male that she's looking out for.
Okay.
I feel like there's a male. Your mom, do you have an uncle? You have a couple of uncles, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like it's the oldest uncle. She's watching out for him now. I feel like there's something that may be coming for him. There is happening in a health issue. You're just to know that he's blessed and he's okay and he's charmed, and she is taking care of his health from A to Z. So if you hear something like he's got high blood pressure or there are heart issues or what have you, understand he is going to take care of whatever is going on health-wise, and he is very protected and taken care of by your grandmother. Okay?
Okay.
Outside of that, where you're concerned, she's very proud of the direction you're going in. You've made some big life decisions lately.
I have.
Yeah, she's really happy. She says, keep going, keep going. And then I see a treasure chest. She's showing me a treasure chest, and it has gold in it. So this has something to do with money and bringing yourself up in life, like kind of doing better in life. Does that make sense for you?
Yep.
Yeah, she's really happy with the direction. I'm happy with the direction you're going in. So not that means as much, but you know what I mean. No, you're doing well, and she's approving of every step you're taking. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the call.
Thanks.
I love calls like that because it's all about family. It's not only confirmation, but it's that moment where you get to reconnect with someone. And when a psychic can bring out specifics, that's really important. And what I find with children, especially from the ages of 0 to 7, they become, they're very, very open. And what happens is if you look at our eye, we have the pupil and then the periphery. We see spirits in the periphery of our eye. From 0 to 7, that entire eye is what we see with. So we can see spirits, we can see all kinds of stuff beyond the veil. When we hit about 7 years old, then what happens is we're in school. So when we're in school, everybody says to you, what do they say? They say, focus. So all of a sudden, we're using the pupil of our eye. And then when we get relaxed, as we get older, we start to open up that periphery, and then we see things out of the corner, or we see things out of the corner. And then when we move, we're shifting our vibration. We're really, really relaxed, and all of a sudden, that's a completely different vibe than relaxed, right? Now we're creating tension and fear and all those things. So then we go right back to the pupil of our eye. And so children from 0 to 7 years old are completely open, not only with their sight, but also with who they are. They haven't been taught what to believe in and what not to believe in, what to know is real and what not to know is real, which is where what do they call them? Imaginary friends come from. You know, children do. They have huge imaginations. And so one of the things we need to do is learn how to discern what is reality as a parent and what is not. And as I said earlier, the 5 W's, right? What, when, where, how, who. And sometimes it's obvious. You will have a child who'll be sitting in the corner and they'll be talking and they'll look at you and they'll go, I'm talking to grandma or I'm talking to grandpa. And you ask them what they look like, right? Who, you know, how do they feel? What are they dressed in? I've had several instances where kids will describe the grandparent either in their favorite outfit, the outfit that they would like putter around the house in, or what they were wearing at the funeral in the casket. And the child would never have seen them. And so these things are little validations. You're always looking for those little validations. My son, when he was about 8 years old, we were living on a farm and we were by the pool area inside. And he says, Mom, he goes, there's a man standing by the pool. And I'm like, really? And right away I knew who he was talking about. And I said, describe him for me. And he described a taller man, a little bit of darker hair, kind of my color, maybe a little bit darker. And I said, really? I said, and does he have a name? And it was very interesting because he said, yeah, Mom, he does. And getting a name for children can be, you know, it's a rare thing, but they can get that information. Knowing who my son was by that point, I wanted to also, you know, kind of nurture this ability in him. And I said to him, I said, what's his name? And he said, James, Mummy. And as soon as he said that, chills ran through my body because my mom had had a miscarriage. It was a boy whom they'd named James. So this was his Uncle James. And Uncle James only came when there was trouble afoot and trouble brewing, because he would come when I was younger as well. And it was very funny because about a week later, there was a cataclysmic situation in our family. So it was a very, very interesting situation. So asking questions in such a way that is age appropriate will always help your situation. Now, what if you have a child who doesn't speak, 3 and under? At about 3.5 is when they really present their abilities. They start to see things, or you see them talking to animals, and it seems like the animals are talking back or responding to them. You know, it's kind of crazy when you're sitting there and your kid is moving their finger along the floor and a spider is following the finger, and then you look closer and the spider is walking backwards. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that actually happened. So when they show these little signs of things happening, it's pretty obvious and easy. But what if you have a child who doesn't speak yet? Right? What if you have a child who is an infant or a toddler or just getting their footing? That can be very scary or frustrating for them, but it can also be scary and frustrating for you as a parent. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And just remember, 647-931-4701 is our number if you want your free psychic reading. Hi, and we're back with messages from an angel. And we're talking about psychic children today. And we're talking about the ages of 0 to 3 years old right now. So 0 to 3 years old is a time when they can't really express themselves fully. So, you know, they're starting to walk, starting to talk. So what happens when a child is having a psychic experience, or how do you know a child is having a psychic experience? One of the dead giveaways is a child isn't sleeping. Now, we know that babies from 0 to 3 do wake up in the middle of the night and that kind of stuff. But one of the ways that you can help that situation and find out whether he or she is having a psychic experience or it's just normal baby stuff is get smoky quartz, jet, and amethyst stones. Get a little bag, put them in the bag. Place it somewhere around the room, closest to the crib that you can where the child can't reach it. And this should actually help to dissipate dream time or dream walking. So what happens is when children are sleeping, they can have dreams in which they are older, in which they are experiencing past lives, in which they're doing so many different things. We're not aware of it, and really neither are they. So what you do is you create a peaceful environment with these stones so that they can still have the dreams, but the body can rest. Okay, I recommend this to most parents regardless, because the smoky quartz is all about keeping the stomach strong, because we have a cord from our stomach that connects to our spirit. So when we astral travel, the spirit comes out, it does its thing, comes back in. That's actually how I knew that my son was experiencing stuff at a very early age. His stomach was always in pain. Like we used, what do they call it, grape juice, and we used, like I used to take him to the hospital. They used to do tests on him. They used to say to me that, you know, everything's normal, everything's fine, everything's wonderful. And yet this child would scream in pain, like it was crazy. And yes, sometimes it was gas. Okay, people. But sometimes it wasn't gas. Sometimes there was something going on and I could feel it and I knew it. And so we started to place smoky quartz on his belly. Like I would hold him and I'd be watching TV and I put the smoky quartz on his belly and then everything would dissipate. And I started to make the connection between the stones that I had been told about and the fact that he was dreaming. Because when I did this, I would put him down to sleep and he would sleep more peacefully. So these are things that I've actually experimented with myself. And if you have a child who is who is dreamy and can't sleep and all that kind of stuff, Rescue Remedy is another one that I've used with my boy. And Rescue Remedy comes in a spray. It used to be only a tincture. Now it's a spray, which I absolutely love. And all you have to do is just spray it on their little hands or spray it on their back. They don't have to ingest it. What it'll do is it will bring them up to the vibration of one of the 5 plants that's in this particular remedy, and it will help them to move forward in whatever it is their issue is that will keep them from sleeping. So Rescue Remedy, really, really important. Now, when we talk about psychic children, we're also talking about kids who can see beyond the veil, who can feel more acutely. So these kids are able to, when they're around people, they're very, very acute in how they respond. So what I used to do with my son is I used to watch him when we had new people, and the way he would respond to new people was the level of trust I would give them. That's how much I trusted my son's instincts. And he was always bang on too. It's like if he was afraid and he was like shying away from someone, there was very, very little wiggle room for me to kind of not be cautious and put up a wall. But if he was like, hey, how you doing? And he didn't even know this person, I'd be like, yeah, come on, sit down, let's have coffee, let's talk. And I'm talking about, in situations that were obviously safe. So children are great indicators of what is going on in a situation, are very much like an animal. And people are going to give me crap for this. I know they are, because my sister gave me crap for this. She works in daycare. From 0 to about 1 or 2 years old, children are animals. We're animals. And they're instinctual. That's all they are. They smell. That's how they find the breast. That's how they find the food. This is how they, their sense of feel and their sense of smell is so acutely heightened. Up until about 6 months, they can hardly see. So the reality is that they are very empathic beings. They can feel everything around them acutely. Some children don't lose this until about 5 or 6. Some people don't lose it at all. In fact, it begins to heighten, especially if you have a very sensitive, quiet child, especially males, by the way. Males, if they're quiet and sensitive as children, are actually nurturing that ability without even realizing they're nurturing it. So then when they grow up, then you start to see them become very introverted for 2 reasons. One, because they're feeling so acutely, they tend to isolate themselves. And we're going to talk about that, teenagers and youth. And then when they become men, they're taught that most men are to be sensitive and that kind of thing isn't really a man, or it's a certain type of man. To me, that is a man. Okay, a guy who can actually connect to his heart, and that guy can be attentive and sensitive and has wisdom, that's a man. But the thing is I'm only finding that it's recently, in the last maybe 10, 15 years, where men are able to actually embrace that and say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to look to my heart. And that's a really important thing to note, because when you have a male who's very sensitive, helping to encourage them as small children to be really connected to their heart, that you know what, the fact that you're sensitive is your strength. The fact that you're so loving is a strength. That is so terribly important. Okay, it really is very, very important, because a lot of times you will find that kids who are oversensitive, like, have you ever had those kids? Have you ever heard that, Anisha? You're being too sensitive? Yeah, you're so sensitive. You're oversensitive. You're being too. I spent my entire life being that. And when you hear that, that is actually a keynote of someone who could very well be a true empath. Now, an empath is somebody who feels. So I can stand beside somebody and I can feel what they're feeling. Sometimes I can feel to the point where I know they've had a heart attack. They've just been through surgery. They have healing issues. They have all of these different things happening in their lives, because I've trained myself and have been trained to be that acute. But when I was younger, in my teenage years, I found that incredibly difficult and overwhelming. All of you guys out there who have teenagers, really, really, really important to understand. If they are isolating themselves, if they're not going out with their friends, even though they have friends at school, if they're not connecting except through the internet, it's not 9 times out of 10 or even 8 times out of 10 because they're being antisocial. They can't handle the energy. They can't. This is another keynote sign of an empath. People who tend to isolate them as they get older, isolate themselves because they can't handle the energy. I had a really hard time finding a job. I had a hard time going to malls. I hated hanging out with my friends in large crowds. I never went to parties. I never went to clubs as an older person. Just never happened. It was just too overwhelming. Even now, with the protections I put on myself, there are times when I can't be in a mall, say at Christmas. And I know a lot of people go through that, but think of what you go through, times that by 10 or 12 or 14. That's what an empath goes through. And then you have someone who's known as a true empath. True empath, man, dude, living that lifestyle is, I can't even imagine. So a true empath is somebody who not only feels acutely, but they become that other person. So they not only feel the person's pain, but they will feel the heart attack they've had. They will feel that person's personality. They will feel they will become that angry person, to the point where they even start to walk like that person. They start to talk like that person. They start to take on mannerisms of that person. That is called a true empath, and it sometimes drives them around the bend. Like, it can be a really scary thing if it's not nurtured correctly. And there are very few healers and very few energetic workers and psychics who work with kids. I just happen to be one of those ones who does specialize in working with younger people. My son, again, he is now 14 and a half. He is at that stage where he's denying his abilities. Okay, that's okay too. I have another friend whose girl is 21 years old, denying her abilities. That's okay. We all have to go through our adjustments. We all have to go through our choices and make those choices. We all come to a crossroads where we turn around and we go, is this really what I want? My son has no choice to believe in this stuff because of the life he's lived, but he wants to fit in. He's a teenager. So when you have a kid who hits about 13 years old, no matter what they've experienced when they're younger, whether they've seen ghosts, whether they've done this, whether they've done that, doesn't matter. They're going to come to an age where they're going to question absolutely everything. Everything is up for grabs at that point. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. With my particular son, it's a constant conversation about science versus spirituality. That's awesome because it opens up all of these conversations. I'm not particularly good at that, but my partner, oh my God, the stuff he brings out of my son is absolutely incredible. And he's nurturing him now to go, these intuitive abilities that you have can be utilized for work, can be utilized to make money, can be utilized in different ways that are not just frou-frou fluff bunny. You don't have to become a professional psychic like your mom. And the reality is too, is that when you have a parent who is highly intuitive and openly intuitive, that also can actually become a hinder more than a help. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that. Energy workers and their children. Hi, and we're back with messages from an angel. Having a pretty laid back day today talking about kids and psychic children, and it's pretty amazing actually. Now I want to talk about parents, especially parents who are energy workers. It's really interesting because as energy workers and psychics, we think to ourselves, well, we got it in hand, right? We know the path, we know what we're doing, we're going to help our children, they're going to be awesome. But the reality is, like any child, more than likely they're going to rebel. You are unique and you are different. And I find that a lot of energy workers, when their kids get to a certain age, the kids start to question them. And it's not cool. The reality is it's not cool because they don't want to be seen as the odd one out. If you go to mypsychiclifestyle.com, my blog, I talk a lot about the whole idea of as we accept ourselves as psychic, it can be an uncomfortable thing. That journey to acceptance is really difficult for the psychic. So can you imagine for our children? I remember when my son was in school, in public school, they were having a barbecue. And they called me, the principal actually called me and said, we'd like you to come and do readings. And I said, look, I'm really sorry. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is when I first started. I didn't want him to feel like he was weird or that he had a weird mom. I didn't want kids to tease him. I didn't want kids to make him feel out of place. And the principal said, well, come on, we know who you are and what you do. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't know. She goes, well, you're very well known in town as a psychic, and we'd like you to come to the barbecue. Listen, she said, the cat's out of the bag. Do you want to come? And I kind of went, yeah, you know what? I do, but I have to talk to my son first. And so I sat down with him and I said, listen, are you cool with this? Are you okay with me coming out? Because once I'm out, man, dude, everyone's going to know. And I went, Mom, that's okay. You know, that's fine. I don't mind people know. At 14 and a half now, it's one of those things where, you know, oh yeah, my mom's in the media. Yeah, my mom works with animals. Never once will he say, yeah, my mom's a psychic. But what's really interesting is some of his friends have found out and they're totally cool with it. But it's not about his friends. It's about his comfort level. Because the reality is once they ask about me, they're going to ask about him. And it's funny because even though he doesn't necessarily buy into this right now, he still wears his bear totem, his bear medicine. He still sometimes asks, if I say something, oh, Joseph, this is what I'm seeing. He'll turn around and he'll listen. You know, we had an incident last year with the earbuds that were bought for him at Christmas. And I told him in the story, I said, dude, do you really want these? And he goes, yeah, I do, Mom, I do. I said, listen, I see them getting stolen. I said, they will get returned to you within 3 days, but they are going to get stolen. He goes, I don't care, Mom. He goes, I want these. I said, all right, you're sure? And he thought about it and he goes, yes. Sure enough, everything we talked about did come to pass. And he was very aware of it. He knew what was going to happen. He took extra care. You know, it wasn't that he didn't. It wasn't his fault. So the reality is that even though you may see your teenager going, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, don't take it personally. Because as energy workers, I've seen them freak out. They're just like, oh my God, what did I do? What's wrong? I got to heal them. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do. You don't have to do anything but let them be them. They're kids, they're teenagers. And the thing is they may be having psychic experiences to the point where it's even overwhelming for them. So here they are trying to deal with the normal stresses of teenage life, right? They have school, they have exams, they have peer pressure, they have girlfriends, they have boyfriends, they have this, they have that. And then on top of that, you have to deal with all of these energies and entities and things that are outside of what we call normal, right? The best thing you can do is just ask them one question. How are you doing? I was just going to say that. You know what? 647-931-4701. We have a caller. Hi, what's your name?
It's Renee.
Hi, Renee. How are you?
Hi, Angel. I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. What can I do for you today?
I'm just calling to see if you see anything coming up for me for December 1st in regards to a move.
I really like you in this place. Yes, I do. I see you getting ready for a move. There is going to be a hiccup, but that's okay. Just keep going. There is going to be a hiccup. But once you're in, you're going to move. Everything is fine there. Do you have a dog?
Yes.
Okay, because the dog keeps coming through. Really, really happy that you're moving. Really, really happy that you're going. He thinks you're going on a trip. He doesn't understand. And he keeps asking, are we coming back? Are we coming back? You need to sit down with your dog and you need to talk to your dog about what's happening because he has kind of a good sense of it because he's hearing about it, but he needs to know exactly what's going on. That's really the only thing I have. Do you have a son?
Yes, my dog has been with my son recently for the last couple months while I'm in transition, and we're all moving together for December 1st.
Awesome. That's awesome. No, this is a great move. This is wonderful. I love this. This is a great move for you. I think it's going to go well. It's just understand there are going to be some hiccups, especially once you move in. Some things are going to go missing. They're not actually missing. They're there. Because I literally see you. I literally see you going, oh my God, where did it go? Oh my God, oh my God. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, we did bring it. That's good. So there are things like that that are going to happen, little things like that. And something about money going missing, it's not missing. You just misplaced it. You're going to be very frazzled for about a week or two. And in that frazzled state, you're going to get a little absent-minded. Other than that, you're okay. One of the sofas that you have that's coming in, does it have like legs, like brown legs?
Yes.
Okay, that one is going to get a nick in it.
It's going to get which?
It's going to get a nick in it, like something is going to happen, like it's going to get hit. Or do you have movers doing this? No, you're doing this, right?
No, we're doing it. And I have all my stuff in 2 different storage units across town. So.
Okay, watch the sofas because I see a nick in it. Now the nick is going to be in the back, so you won't really see it, but just understand that it's more than likely going to happen.
Okay.
Okay, is there like a set of stairs and like an around the corner thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where it's going to happen. Okay.
They're huge leather couches. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So when you go around the corner, that may happen. I'm actually I'm concerned for both, but the nick isn't as worrisome as there's going to be like a little piece of the corner of the wall. Don't fret too much about it. You can fix that later. Right?
Okay. Do you see geographically where we may be ending up?
You're north of where you're going to end up, so you're moving a little southeast.
Okay.
Show me a town, show me a name, show me something. There are going to be 2 to 3 options.
Okay.
One of them is, 2 of them feel like a house, like one of them's like a townhouse. One of them is a house. And there is a potential for like a condo, but that's too small for you. Don't go there. Don't go there. There is a potential for a condo. It's a bigger condo, but the 2 houses is where I see you, and it's really nice. There's a park right by it, right behind it. The house that you're going to take. So there's a house and there's a townhouse condo, and the house has a park behind it.
Okay.
There is a playscape, like a playscape, yellow and red, which they normally are, yellow, red, blue. There's something round that kids can climb, like when you climb like a ladder, but it's round, and they're like, it kind of goes like that, and then like that. They're all connected. Benches around it. What's the defining character of the park? Show me defining. There might be something, might be a tennis court and maybe even a fountain of some sort. Okay? That's okay. She can still hear and she can always go back. Thank you for that call. Look for those markers. All right. Oh, we have another caller. All right. Hello, caller. How are you? Hi. What's your name? Oh, dropped a call? We do? We are experiencing technical difficulties. Hello. What's your name?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm just calling on behalf of one of my sons. His name is Jamal. I'm just wondering what's going on with him. He don't want to do nothing. He don't want to go work. He lasted for 3 months.
Yeah, because I'm looking at school, and I want him to be, like, I see school around him. He's actually considering education. He's really worried about money. He's really scared about money. He's afraid that he can't make it. This guy has a real fear of failure and success. He has a fear of failure in the sense that he doesn't want to try anything because if he becomes successful, he might lose it. So it's a very interesting dynamic with this kid. He's very, very bright. He's very capable, exceptionally capable, but he's scared of making it up to the ladder to the point where he can't handle himself. So he'd rather do nothing. What is his astrological sign? Is he a Leo?
Is fear of failing?
No, he has fear of success. No,
fear
he
of
hasn't.
Success?
Yeah, he has a fear of success. If he gets to a certain level, can he maintain it? He's really scared. It's not, he knows he can do the job. He's actually quite cocky about it. What he's scared of is doing well and then something happening and then failing. He's afraid of not being able to sustain success. That is what your son is afraid of. Okay. And he needs to understand that. He's not afraid of failing. And this is what he's trying to tell it. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of getting a job. I'm not afraid of making money. What he's afraid of, and I don't even know that he sees this, what he's afraid of is sustaining the money, sustaining a certain, because who's the man who had a job and lost it?
Yeah, he had jobs and they want to hire him and he don't go back.
No. Who is the man in the family who had a job that he saw and lost it?
If I have anybody like that, I don't know.
Okay, because I keep seeing him not want steps. It's like
you don't
someone.
Want to follow that.
Sorry?
Okay.
Sorry?
Oh, you don't want to follow somebody's footsteps.
Yeah, he doesn't want to follow. Okay. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
I don't have those kind of fear.
Yeah, but he's different.
Absolutely not me.
Yeah, but he's not you. Right? He's different.
Yeah.
He's different. So you need to sit down, even go on the internet and research that. Like, I'm not kidding. Go on the research. Fear of success. Because some people have a fear of success, not failure. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate that. Okay, let's go to the next call. All right, people, now we're rocking and rolling. All right, who do I have online today? What's your name? Hi, what's your name?
It's Renee. I got cut off.
Oh, you did? Oh, dear. Okay, and do you have well, we've answered your question. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Well, I guess that was it then. You were in the middle of talking, and then the TCN thing came on.
Okay, well, I answered the full question. If you want to go back on the video, you can. But basically what they're saying for you is that everything will work out. There's nothing here to be concerned about. And where you're moving towards is actually going to be good to you. And I was seeing the park. And when you see the park that I've described, I think that's going to be an earmark to go, this is where I need to be. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Angel.
Thanks for calling back.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. We're going to be back after these messages. Please remember, today is a call-in day, 647-931-4701. And if you have a psychic child and you have a question about that psychic child or niece or nephew or grandchild, call in. Ask your question. I'm here, and we'll be back.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, my name is Angel Morgan, and we are back with messages from an angel. If you have a child that you think is psychic, please call in, talk to me, share your story, ask your questions. I'm here today. And it's a date for call-ins for your free readings, 647-931-4701. Now, that's another interesting thing, kids in university. Now, when you're a teenager, you're going through the hormonal stuff. This stuff heightens everything when you're energetic. It's good for them to have someone to be able to trust and talk to. So instead of bombarding them, asking them that one question, hey, how's it going? What are you feeling? How are you sleeping tonight? Right? That's really, really important. Now, it can also be fun having a psychic family. When my son has a girlfriend or whatever, I'm always tapping in. I said to him the other day, I said, you know what? I said, oh, honey, what's this girl? And I said a name. And he goes, Mom, stop tapping into the girls I like. I'm like, ooh, you like her? Nice. So it is really hard sometimes to get past a psychic mom. So understand, for a teenager especially, this can be frightening, frustrating. This can be exceptionally frustrating for them because their every move. My son and I were driving to school one day, and just out of a sudden, I didn't even realize it had come out of my mouth. I looked at him and I said, you have a bully. And he goes, what? And I said, you're being bullied. And he goes, no, I'm not. I said, yeah, you are. I said, is there something you need to tell me? And he goes, no, Mom, no, not at all. And I said, okay, but I knew. And when you have mother's instinct, Okay, follow that instinct, because again, we are all intuitive. If you think of a child sitting behind a desk, there is a person standing behind them energetically. Every child, whether the person is alive or dead, is irrelevant. When somebody says to me, oh, you know what, my son was at school and he hurt his knee and I knew as soon as it happened, da da da, that's you tapping into your kid. That is your connection to your child. So we always know what's going on with our kids. We just don't acknowledge it. We dismiss these feelings. So try not dismissing the feelings. When you have those instincts, ask questions, light questions. Okay? The other day I said to my son, I said, you know what? I said, how's science class? Just like that. I said, how's science class going? Fine. I said, oh, I'm not expecting any calls from the school or anything. He goes, no, not that I know of. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. I knew something was up. And then we're driving. All of a sudden, the school called. Go figure. Somebody was a few minutes late for class. And I said, you sure there wasn't something you want to tell me? Mom, I didn't even know. You're sure you didn't know? And then silence. So the reality is when you have those instincts, you are allowed as a parent to act on them. Okay, as long as it's not intrusive, like, you know, the whole idea that I know that, you know, this girl he likes pizza and candy and this and that and the other. Okay, that's completely invasive. But the reality is when push comes to shove, when you know things are happening. Let's see, somebody has said, hello, how are you, Latrice? What a pretty name, Latrice. I like that. That's a pretty name. Yeah, you guys can also comment and give us your questions through Facebook and YouTube as well if you'd like. Now, we're talking about the parent side of it too. So parents with psychic children are going to find that it can be really frustrating. A lot of times these kids want to be older than they are as well. Now, every teenager does, but these ones very succinctly show you that they are not like the other kids. It's not just about not fitting in anymore. It's about the way they talk, the things that they're interested in, the way they address the world. I was in a restaurant with my son one day, and we were fine. We were having a great time. And then he went to the washroom, came back, and he goes, I'm going to be at the car. And he took off. And I'm like, what's going on? And he goes, Mom, I came out. And he goes, and I saw all of these people eating. All of them. And he goes, and it was like, I saw how overly convenient life is. He goes, when a bear eats, does a rabbit serve them? You know, and he goes, and the stuff on the plate, he goes, it was just so overwhelming. I couldn't handle it. And he walked out. You know, the way he talks about politics, the way he talks about the world, the way he talks about emotions and family, it's not necessarily the most normal for a 14-and-a-half-year-old. And I understand that they have all this access to internet and all these kinds of things. But the way you see his emotions, I'm seeing more and more and more and more and more in these gifted children. Okay? And they are gifted. And they need to be nurtured. So how do you nurture a psychic child? You nurture them by asking questions. You nurture them by saying, hey, you know what, whatever you're experiencing, that's okay. By saying, you know what, you had a nightmare last night, let's talk about that nightmare. What is going on for you? When my son was really little, he had a friend who would always come around, and I would talk to him, and he goes, Mommy, sometimes my friend scares me. And I said, you know, you're allowed to say, you know, you can't come around if you're going to scare me. You can only come around if you're not going to scare me. And after that, he really had no issues. I knew when he was talking about imaginary friends and not imaginary friends because weird things would happen. One day, my bathroom was locked, and we couldn't open it. For the life of us, we couldn't open it. He goes, okay, Mommy, it's okay, it's okay. And he was probably about 6 years old. And he went over to the bathroom, and he started trying to jiggle the knob, and then he went really, really quiet with his hand on the knob. And he's like, I'm like, okay, whatever. And all of a sudden, the bathroom opened. And of course, chills ran through my spine and through my body. And he came over, and I said, what did you do? And he looked at me and goes, oh, I didn't do anything. He goes, my superhero friends did. And I'm like, your superhero friends? Which was the first time I'd ever heard of these people. And so after that, every time he was in a situation, he would call on his superhero friends. So his superhero friends to me could be guides and guardians, angels, archangels. As a child, he's not going to know what they are. As he got older, we continued to talk about them. Do you still have your superhero friends? What do they look like? Who are they? As he became more cognitive, we talked more deeply about guides and guardians. Oh yeah, Mom, that was my guide. Now I recognize that. Right? When he was little, we knew what his animal totem was. So we would do children's meditations, and I would take him into the forest. You can do this. You don't have to be an energy worker or psychic. You can lie down with your child, and you can have them close their eyes and have them imagine themselves in a field with the most amazing animal, whatever that animal is for them. And if you find that that animal keeps coming up over and over and over again, that animal is probably working with them. That animal is probably guiding them and helping them. And that is an animal totem or spirit that's working with them at the time. okay? It's one of the ways of finding out what's going on with them. Ask them, what's your favorite animal? A week later, what's your favorite animal? If it continues to be the same animal, there might be something going on. It could be an animal energy that's working with them to help them through a certain situation. You'll find, too, that these kids, when they're at school, they're treated differently. A lot of times you'll find that kids like this who are very psychic are labeled dyslexic, ADD, ADHD, autistic. Now, that's not to say these things don't exist. I am not negating them in any way. But through testing, they can find out whether something is actually going on. If not, then what is going on? At that point, you might want to see a naturopath, a homeopath, a holistic worker of some sort to be able to help guide you in what may be going on with your child. Spiritual counselors are also amazing. There are psychologists and psychiatrists now who actually work with this kind of stuff. Not to say that your kids need that. In one of the schools my son went to when he was very little, they had determined that he was going to be tested for dyslexia. And I said, nope, that's not going to happen. Because I already knew what was going on. And he was a year below his age, so everything he was experiencing was a year behind everyone else. Well, the school decided to go behind my back and test it. Wow, was I ever livid. And what was really funny is after they did the test, it came back inconclusive. And I looked at the teachers, and I looked at the principal, and I said, what did you expect? And they said, what do you mean? I said, that's Joseph. He is inconclusive. And I said, and don't do it again, or I will go to the board. That was what I said. You are the parent. You have control. This is your child. Instinctively, you know what's going on with your kid. You want to take them to the doctor, you want to have them tested, go for it. There's no reason you shouldn't. But if you instinctively know that, hey, you know what? I'm going to hold off on this. I want to see how my son or daughter develops. That's okay too. You're not doing anything wrong by that. The reality is there are things you can do to find out whether your child is a psychic or it has psychic experiences. Again, do they see things? Ask them. Do you ever see things when you're like walking around the house out of the corner of your eye or that kind of thing? Don't spook them, right? But do ask them questions. When you're dreaming, do your dreams feel real? That's a big one for kids, because if their dreams feel real, good bet that they're either dream messengers or they're dream walkers. Dream walkers are huge as children, because what happens is they're awake during the day, then they're awake at night, and they're doing stuff in their dream time. They feel real. They can feel their feelings. They know they're dreaming. That's a huge one. Do you know you're dreaming when you dream? Okay. Ask that question. That's a really big one for kids. The other thing too is that if they are doing these things, it means they're not sleeping at night. You're going to find that they're viciously tired when they're awake. When they wake up exhausted, even though you think they're having a really good sleep. So what you can do at night is one of my favorite things to have done when my son was little, and he still does it, I think. I'm pretty sure he does. I mean, he said he did. Again, 14 and a half, you never know. But what we used to do is we used to say these words, and they're very, very important. I used to take his hand, and I used to say, just for tonight, no dreams. Let me wake up feeling absolutely refreshed, but just for tonight, no dreams. And then I would have him repeat that. And if I'd forgotten and he had fallen asleep, I would close my eyes, I would envision him, and I would envision myself holding his hand doing that same thing. Okay? He grew up with that. And every time we did that, I found that he slept. So what I did is we had a routine of 2 nights on and 3 nights off, and 3 nights on and 2 nights off. So I allowed him to dream for 3 nights and sleep for 2, then allowed him to dream for 2 nights and sleep for 3. That was just something we did. You can do whatever you want. The reality is it's healthy for kids to dream, but when you do that, when you say those words I'm saying is basically, yet again, as I said earlier, what's going to happen is that child is going to fall asleep, still have the dream time, but the body will be able to rest. Now, the other earmark, again, tummy hurting. If the tummy is consistently hurting, always hurting, they're not sleeping well, these are signs that they could be dream walking, okay? If they're seeing things, or they come to you and say, Mommy, I saw this or saw that, try not to dismiss it. Try to ask questions to see what the motivation is. Where is this coming from? Okay. One time my son came out of the bedroom and he was screaming blue murder. And I'm like, what the hell? And he came over and he goes, Mommy, 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 Mommy. He goes, I saw this boy. I saw this boy. I said, you saw a boy? And he said, yes. And he was in our room. He slept in our room in the big bed that night. And I remember just before he came out, I did feel like something was in the living room or had gone past the living room. And he goes, yes, Mommy. He goes, there was a boy. and the boy was holding a little girl, and he was running out of the room, and then there was another boy who chased them out of the room. And his dad, who didn't believe in any of this stuff at the time, he was listening intently, and I said, "What's going on, Jay?" And he goes, "This is what I saw." And he goes, "Mommy, it was really scary." I said, "It's okay." I said, "I think I may have seen it too." I said, "I might have felt it." I said, "But you're okay because they left. You saw them run out of the room." And he goes, "Well, Mommy." I said, "You're going to be okay." I said, "We can talk a little bit about it in the morning. Come and I'll sleep with you for now." Right? And everything was fine after that. All he needed was that sense that it was going to be safe. Well, the next morning, his father took me aside. He goes, "I don't believe what my son said last night." And I said, "Why? You don't believe it?" And he goes, "No, not believe it. I don't believe it." He goes, "I don't believe it." He goes, "Because I think I saw the same thing." I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I could have swore out of the corner of my eye there was a kid that ran out of the room." And he goes, "I could have swore I saw him holding a little girl." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you for the validation." And that's all I said. He goes, "That's it?" And I'm like, "What else am I supposed to say?" In that case, what you can do too is you can ground and protect your home. And are we in the third segment or fourth? Oh my goodness gracious. So on our next episode, we're going to talk about what you can do to help your home when you're having psychic activity. Whether you have kids, whether you have all this kind of stuff happening, we're going to talk about that. But come back right after the break so we can do our outro. And thank you everybody for calling in today. Right after these messages.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, and welcome back. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today on Messages from an Angel. We were talking about psychic kids and psychic children and what we can do with them and parents. It was a great show, and I feel like I still have so much more information to share. So come back next week, and we're going to be talking about cleansing and clearing homes, smudging, Native Aboriginal ways, Asian. I mean, we're going to go through the whole gambit, and I'm going to give you guys tips to take with you for after that show. So join us next week, Thursday, from 12 to 1, right here on TCN for TCN Thursdays and Messages from an Angel.